The crypto market is secretly bullish, and part of this has to do with what we're seeing on the charts right now, but the other half of this has to do with everything that we've seen transpire over the course of the last week or so. I'm talking about everything with Binance, CZ, Bittrex, BlackRock, the ETFs, you name it. I want to make sure that in today's video, I not only explain what's happening, but why it could be impactful on the entire crypto market. So all that we ask here is that if you like the content that we make, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And if you really like it, then check out the links in the description down below. But let's go ahead and kick things off with the technicals first and take a look at what's happening at the chart, because I think that this is arguably one of the more impactful things that is not being talked about, at least not by the majority of analysts that I've seen here recently. So I'm sure you're wondering, Brendan, what in the world is happening here on Bitcoin? And to answer that question, we need to not only look at its technicals and not just its candle chart, but at some of these indicators like the RSI and the MACD as well. Because what we've seen is this really nice upwards consolidation on Bitcoin, where you'll notice that there is this really nice support line paired alongside this 20-day moving average. And every time the price of Bitcoin gets near here, it's bouncing off this level. So we can see it bounce off, rise up, bounce off, rise up, bounce off, rise up. And this is the same process that just keeps repeating itself. And so what this is doing is this is forming higher swing lows on Bitcoin's daily chart. So we're seeing consistently higher lows. And with this, we need to look at things like the MACD and the RSI on the daily chart. And so what we're seeing across the board is that the RSI, for example, is actually falling off from this overbought territory, and it's falling downwards while prices are consistently rising. The same thing goes with the MACD over here. We're seeing a sell-off, or not really a sell-off, more of a fall in the MACD while prices are forming higher lows. So why is it that we're seeing the MACD go from this overbought to oversold area? Why is it going from green to red? And the same story with the RSI. Why is the RSI going from an overbought territory, a pretty decently high one of 88, all the way down back to a neutral territory of 52? Well, what this is actually called is hidden bullish divergence. You can look this up for yourself. But when we see hidden bullish divergence, the thing that really signifies this is lower lows on indicators like the RSI, and then higher lows on the candle chart, which indicates price. And that's exactly what we are seeing on the current chart of Bitcoin, is this hidden bullish divergence from a technical standpoint. Because again, we have higher lows, and then we have lower lows on things like the RSI and the MACD. So when this is happening over here, there's a lot of talk about maybe this is an ascending triangle. Other people are trying to say that it's a rising wedge. But I think that the majority of information is saying, yeah, maybe a little bit pullback is possible. I mean, we're in the crypto markets. They're meant to move up and down a little bit. But with that being said, the large majority of information here is definitely pushing that the markets are, in the macro, in the large scheme of things, they're still standing very bullish. Now, when we look at some of the fundamental news stuff, and that's what I kind of want to shift us into now, we need to understand everything that's happened and then what that has done to price in the last week. So, quick recap for anyone who has missed it or not heard the full story yet. Basically, Binance, the world's largest, or whether you want to argue it, one of the largest crypto exchanges in the world, with over $60 billion in assets, they lost their lawsuit, their case against the United States Department of Justice, or DOJ. And so the resolution to this was pretty much threefold. Number one, they were not going to be able to service U.S. customers in the foreseeable or immediate future. Number two, they would be fined $4.3 billion, which is a scary thing. And then number three, their CEO and founder, CZ, or Changpeng Zhao, had to step down and actually plead guilty on charges of money laundering, as we can see right here. So under normal circumstances, and I forgot one more thing. And on top of this, of all the stuff that's happening with Binance, another legacy exchange that has been around for quite some time, Bittrex, just filed for bankruptcy as well. And so not only do we have Binance getting sued $4.3 billion, losing their founder and their CEO that got them to pretty much where they are at, and all this stuff is happening. They're not going to be able to operate in the US, at least for the foreseeable future. Under normal circumstances, this would dump the market. If you were saying that Binance loses CZ, he gets the boot, there's charges of illegal activities, they can't operate in the States, Bittrex is going under. Under normal market circumstances, we would see a strong downside in the price of Bitcoin. I'm talking like not just a little pullback, like a double-digit move. I would argue that this would be a really bad thing for the crypto market. However, and there is a but here, we are not seeing this. Instead of the crypto markets pulling back, and there's so many articles that we can go over here, and there's some news I kind of want to get into as I'm segueing this point. Instead of the markets pulling back, the other day we just saw Bitcoin hit a new yearly high of 38.4, even pushing $38.5 thousand. So how is it that all this news is able to come out and Bitcoin's price is not able to fall? Well, that's because when you look at this again in the bigger picture, yeah, a $4.3 billion fine seems bad on paper. But what we're missing here is that in the background, there is, and I want to go ahead and pull this up. In the background, last week we saw BlackRock and Grayscale meeting with the SEC to make sure everything was okay for their Bitcoin ETF. So yeah, a $4.3 billion fine is tough for Binance, but in the grand scheme of things, almost all of the money that they had on their platform, the large majority of it stayed on. And there was these hit articles saying, oh my gosh, like $1 billion was leaving the exchange. And they talk about it, I think, a little bit in here. Yes, $1 billion left the exchange in the first like 24 hours or something like that, but they still held over $65 billion worth of assets. And throughout all of these regulatory talks, at least from my understanding and everything that I've read, there was never the conversation of Binance does not have the funds that they claim that they have. So there was a lot of fears out there that Binance is going to become the next FTX, that they were going to be the ones to implode. And that simply just doesn't look like it's going to be the case, because the core root of the problem that caused the FTX crash is not there and present inside of the Binance exchange. So Binance has the money that they always claim that they have. They still have $65 billion. And I have where's the article? I think it's right here. Basically, Nansen did a study and said, hey, even after everything that's happened, even after the fine, even after all the withdrawals, roughly $65 billion worth of assets remained on Binance, and they even agreed to do all of this stuff that the US asked. So now that we have seen this, this is also affecting other cryptocurrency companies. Things like MicroStrategy are ripping the new yearly highs. Coinbase is ripping the new yearly highs. And when I say ripping, that's a good thing, because we can go and look at like things like the Coinbase chart over here. Coinbase is just soaring. It's like borderline parabolic at this point. And in the last, what is this? In the last 22 days, it's up 82%. It's not every day you see that in the stock market. We also have things like MicroStrategy, which I have saved somewhere in here, which is also doing really, really well here, especially over the course of this year. And you can see just how well their chart has been performing, all the way from around $131 towards the end of last year to where it's currently sitting at around $500. It's up 284% in less than a year. So we're seeing all this happen, and the reason that I bring all of this up is because the crypto space is still really strong. And yeah, a $3.4 billion fine seems big, but in the grand scheme of things, that very same week, we have trillion-dollar asset managers, even the largest asset manager on the planet, that is meeting to launch a Bitcoin ETF. So people are saying, yeah, $4.3 billion, it seems like a lot, but there's a $10 trillion asset manager that wants to get their hands on Bitcoin, and it's just a drop in the bucket for someone like them. And then you look at how much actual selling pressure was caused and how much all of this matters to Binance. If they still have $65 billion worth of assets, then a $4 billion fine is like a couple percentage points of their entire asset pool. And it's not anything that's nearly catastrophic. And so when we go and we look at Bitcoin price and why Bitcoin is secretly bullish, I want to kind of look at everything that's happened and said, hey, if there was something that should have dumped the market, it should have been all this Binance news, all this Bittrex news. It should have been like all this stuff happening. But the point that I'm trying to make is that it's all just a drop in the bucket in comparison to everyone that's interested. Charles Schwab, Fidelity, BlackRock, Invesco, you name it. There's all these, Franklin Templeton, the list goes on. There's all these big names that have hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars in assets, and they all want in on Bitcoin. And the people that are in the background are seeing just how positive this really is for the crypto market. So if you're looking at all this and saying, How is the crypto market secretly bullish? What is happening, and why could it be a good thing for the future of not only Bitcoin, but for the entire crypto space? These are the reasons why. Now, I want to give a quick kind of like segue for all those NFT people who are interested out there. If you are interested in NFTs, we have a really cool thing going on right now where you can check out our How to Profit from the NFT Marketplace blueprint. And what we've done is we've actually made this completely free. So all you need to do is go to the description down below and you can go ahead and sign up for it. That's literally all you have to do. You have to just come in, sign up, we'll send it to you, and there's no strings attached. And if you like it, great. And if not, well, guess what? It was free. So if you're interested in the NFT marketplace and you don't know where to start, you can go ahead and check that out. It's going to be the first link in the description down below. And again, it's completely free for you. So if you like it, try it out. If not, hey, no harm, no foul. But the final things that I want to kind of talk about here in the crypto markets before we wrap this whole thing up is that, again, sentiment is really strong. And the other thing that we've started seeing is a rise in Bitcoin dominance. And this is one of the things that we've talked about pretty frequently on the channel here. And I've done this little analysis kind of just showcasing what Bitcoin dominance has done over the past rough year or so. And basically, it has these periods where it rises and falls and rises and falls. And, you see it's self-explanatory what's kind of happening here. And I think my face is probably blocking part of this. So I want to go ahead and kind of show everyone what we're looking at. And in all of these rises and falls of Bitcoin dominance from the last year, the one thing that we can see is that it's not uncommon for it to pull back to or below the 50-day moving average, which tends to be about a 6 to 4% pullback on Bitcoin dominance. Now, what this means is that when Bitcoin dominance is rising, Bitcoin is outperforming the altcoin market. When Bitcoin dominance is falling or consolidating, it typically means that the altcoin market is playing catch up and they're the ones outperforming Bitcoin. Now, what we saw in recent days was this pullback in Bitcoin dominance, and you guessed it, it came right to the 50-day moving average, pulled back about 4.3%, and now Bitcoin dominance is once again rallying upwards, as we can see from the BTC dominance chart right on the screen here. So Bitcoin dominance is moving back up. The crypto market is holding right at the highs. I mean, you look at Bitcoin, it's seriously just, as we're making this video, just tapped a new yearly high of almost 38.5K. Ethereum is actually still consolidating fairly well at these highs, trying to maybe put in some sort of ascending triangle. Things like the Total 2 are also looking like they're consolidating fairly close to their highs. It's about 5% below its multi-year resistance line, which is something that I think a lot of people need to kind of keep their eye out on. But across the board here, the crypto market is looking good. So whether you're looking at it from a technical standpoint, whether you're looking at it from a fundamental standpoint, there is a lot of stuff that is happening in the background here. And not just crypto is doing well. Again, all these publicly traded crypto companies, things like Coinbase, things like MicroStrategy, all these other ones that are out there, they're doing good. And I think that Coinbase is doing especially strong in all of this because BlackRock already has a partnership with Coinbase. And now that all these other traditional players want to get in, if they're going to partner with anyone, it doesn't look like it's going to be Binance anymore. I mean, why would they partner with Binance after everything that's happened? And if BlackRock, who sets the golden standard for the whole finance space, is partnered with Coinbase, then it would make sense that all these other big, medium, or even small players would look towards, again, Coinbase as that golden standard to help them out. It's not to say that other exchanges can't, but again, if BlackRock's using Coinbase, I doubt that they have any kind of exclusivity agreement where no one else can use them as well. It wouldn't make sense from a business standpoint. So Coinbase is looking to profit off of this as Binance has fallen just a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think that Binance is still going to be around. I think that Coinbase is going to still be around. I think that Kraken's still going to be around. I think that a lot of these, like Bitcoin's going to be around, Ethereum's going to be around. And it doesn't mean that the crypto space won't be a little bit volatile. But what it does mean is that everything is going to be everything looks like it's going to be okay, and the crypto market still looks strong in the bigger picture. So that's going to round us up for this video, everyone. I hope all of you did enjoy. And again, the only thing that we ask here is that if you like the content that we make over here at the Crypto 101 channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And again, if you really like it, then check out those links in the description down below, because we are running that free how to profit in the NFT market as like a blueprint of sorts. And if you want to get that, it's going to be the first link in the description down below. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see all of you in our next video.